gorgeous. So this week in wedding planning, I'll start off with today. Today we actually went and got our engagement pictures done, which everything is so nerve-wracking about this process for some reason. I think also because we've had back-to-back like cake, venue, and now engagement photos like every Saturday. There's been something. Jake even made a comment saying like, "Oh, the nice thing about a wedding is that the wedding will only last one day." So I won't be so nervous about like every week about a new thing. Although man, if I'm this nervous about these little like these appointments, I can't imagine what I'm gonna be like on the wedding day. I'm gonna be a wreck. But here's hoping that things are gonna be a-okay. But anyway, the engagement shoot was great. Like there was stress for me this morning because I was like, okay, I need to do my makeup and I also need to pick out the outfits I got. I actually asked some people on Discord what outfit should I wear, and this was one of them. And there's another red dress that I picked. I was thinking I have so many white dresses. I was thinking I'd pick one of those, but I ended up changing my mind and just doing these ones. It was, and I also like couldn't find my jewelry for a little bit, so I was like freaking out trying to find where things were, and I was just a wreck beforehand. But once we got there, once we got there, I was still nervous. But when our photographer got there, I felt a whole lot better. We hadn't actually met our photographer before because we booked through a company, and so we've only talked to the owner when we first booked, but we hadn't actually talked to. She's gonna be our main photographer for our wedding, and she was super nice. I talked about doing some joke like anime poses, but we ended up just kind of doing whatever she told us to do. It was a lot of just kind of like, all right, stand here and then hug and look at each other and like do a kiss and then like, oh, look away from each other, hold hands, show the ring, sort of thing. And it was kind of doing the same sort of poses in like a few different places. We were actually out for like an hour and a half. I didn't expect it to take that long, but it also didn't feel like an hour and a half. But I asked her too. I was like, oh, so for the day of, how long would this potentially take? Because I'm still trying to figure out timeline stuff. And she said, oh, maybe a half hour for first look, half hour for a bridal party, half hour for like your couple portraits. Maybe plan 2 hours just in case. And then if you have family, that's extra time. Because I was like, oh my gosh, if this is taking this long for just the two of us. But Jake pointed out later, he said, well, we're going to a bunch of different locations, but when we do our photos, it's probably just only going to be in the ceremony space and maybe a couple back at the reception space, but most of our like group shots are just going to be people in like one area and we won't be moving all around. Because where we went, I think I mentioned, it's kind of like a man-made lake. Pretty much walked around the whole thing and like stopped here and there at, a bunch of little spots, like stopped by some shrubbery here, sat on a swing bench here, stood next to the water here, stood on a bridge here, stood under a bridge here. So it was, like I said, it was a lot of the same pose in different spots. I know Jake felt a little uncomfortable with, because, so in my head, we were obviously there with a photographer. Like she's literally got her little suitcase that she's wheeling around with like 4 or 5 cameras in it, because she said it's easier for her that way, so then she can just pull the camera out instead of having to adjust it every single time she needs to adjust it. Which is, like sometimes it took a while for her to switch cameras, but at the same time, man, it would have taken a lot longer if she had to switch lenses caps for everything, so I totally get it. But since we're clearly there with the photographer, I'm like, well, I don't care if people see us hugging and kissing and stuff, because we're obviously there with the photographer. We're not just over here being mushy and gross. Like, we're over here because we're getting pictures taken. I figure people understand that. But Jake was more like, oh, like we're just, the whole, like, I could tell he was doing his uncomfortable smile when like we had to gaze into each other's eyes and stuff. So he kept making silly jokes and doing silly moves. Like she'd tell us, oh, like hold hands and then just walk, just walk normally, and I'll try and get some like candids of you guys walking. But Jake would just kind of skip and jump and like just make funny faces, and I'd be like, why are you like this? I'm sure it made for some silly pictures. Our photographer said we were fun, which I'm just like, I don't know if that's good or bad. It was a little awkward, but it was still fun, and it was less nerve-wracking than I made it out to be in my head. And if that's what our wedding day is going to be like, I don't think I'll have any issues with it. And she was talking about, oh, are you thinking of doing a first look with your dad? And I said, yeah, I would love to do that. Especially because our plan currently is that I haven't asked them yet, but I'm going to ask my parents to drive me to the ceremony venue for the first look, and Jake will probably drive himself or have a friend. But I figure since my parents are driving me, it'd be great to like walk out and have a first look with my dad. And maybe, I suppose my mom will probably help me into my dress, but we'll see. Oh, so that'll lead me to my next topic. So on the dress. So I've had my dress picked out for a while. I just got a cheap dress on Dressel, but I've been losing weight recently, and the dress only has a zip up in the back, and so I tried it on the other day, and it's too big on me, and I don't want to get alterations on a $30 dress. Like, it just didn't seem worth it. But I just got a dress in the mail. I got it as like a, oh, this could be fun for like the rehearsal dinner or whatever, because I just kept finding cute white dresses and I thought I'd try it, and it was on AliExpress. And I know some people have luck with that site and some people don't. But the dress I got, so it's sort of, I'm looking at it right now. I have it hanging on the closet, but Jake's not allowed to see it. He saw my first dress, so this will be the dress that he doesn't see because I'm planning to use this as my wedding dress now. Because it has a partial zipper, but then it's a corset back. And it's still, this is also unfortunately a tiny bit big on me, but I tried to like, I tightened it literally as far as I could, like by myself, and it's still just a little bit loose. But I was like jumping around and like fake dancing in it, and nothing fell out. Like everything was totally fine. It just is a little loose on the, like on the sleeves, because it's a no, like a off shoulder sort of dress. That's Jake, that's your hint, because I'm sure you're the only one who watches these. But it's yeah, so it's a little off shoulder and it didn't move. And if I wear like a more supportive, like front, what are those called? The like backless bras. If I wear one of those, it should be totally fine. Um, but we'll see. Well, I say we'll see. It'll be fine. Like, I don't really plan to get a different dress at this point. I've already got too many. I looked through them all today. I have the one dress I'm getting rid of because it was too big and I'm not gonna wear it, and it was just ugly. Like, it was the first dress I ever bought, and it's just an ugly dress, and I don't like it. It wasn't the way I thought it would be at all. And then I have the other one I'm probably gonna wear to a bridal shower. Another one I'm gonna wear for my bachelorette. Another one is my getting ready dress, and the last one's a rehearsal dinner dress. So those are all the dresses I have. I still have one more coming in the mail, which is a little more sheer, so that might be a boudoir shoot dress. You don't have to do lingerie for a boudoir shoot. That's what I was told. So I might just do the more sheer pretty. It's also not a white dress. It's a pale blue. It looked white when I bought it, but it looked white when I looked at it, and but it was described as pale blue. But I'm like, I'm gonna buy it anyway because it's cute. So I'm excited to see what that one looks like. That one hasn't arrived yet. So yeah, so we did our photos. We have dresses. Way too many, but it's actually working out. And to be fair, I spent 200 or less on like 6 dresses as opposed to a bunch on one dress, which no shade if people do that. I'm just not an outfit person. Like, even literally this dress and the other dress I wore for my pictures were both dresses that we did I did a clothing swap with my friends, and they're both my friends' dresses. Or like I get my mom's clothes or my sister's clothes. Like, if it fits me, I wear it, and I don't really buy things very often. So the fact that I spent this much on clothes is a lot for me, even though I could have definitely, like, I do regret a little bit that I didn't go to a store to try on dresses because I would love to have that experience. But I know the people who work there generally work on commission, and I wouldn't want to go just to feel like, ooh, I'm a princess in my pretty wedding dresses. I'd love to experience that, but I'm not going to do it knowing I'm not going to buy anything. That's not fair to the people who work there. But man, do I wish. Oh, the last thing is we looked up some rehearsal dinner spots. We did that on our Tuesday little planning meeting that Jake and I had. We haven't picked anything yet. Jake sent a few emails after we looked some places up and discussed, because our venue said there was a place across the street that he said would be good for it. We haven't heard back from them yet. We've gotten 2 responses from 2 different restaurants, but we haven't checked in with them yet because Jake emailed them directly, but I don't know if I wasn't tagged in them or if they responded and like didn't tag me or something, but I don't know. We didn't make a separate wedding emails. We should have, but we didn't. So we kind of have to try to just tag each other and CC each other and stuff. So we haven't gotten back to them yet. We'll probably do that next week's planning meeting. Hopefully they're not like booked up or something in this last week. The only unfortunate thing is I was thinking it might be a little more expensive, but since we're not going to do it at our venue, we thought, oh, maybe we should do it in the hotel, which is right by the venue. But the hotel is already booked for that day, so we can't do the hotel, which is a bummer. But hopefully one of the other venues work out. There are a few that sounded really awesome, but they have crazy rental rates, and it stinks because we're inviting 50 people to a rehearsal dinner, but I guarantee that not that many people are going to show up, but we still need the space in case 50 people show up. Because there are a lot of nice places that can only hold 30 people, and that's probably closer to how many people will come, but I'd rather just try to find a bigger place. And if we can't find a place for 50, then we might just have to do it in her backyard or something, which also isn't ideal because our house is pretty small. Like, it's hard when we have 8 people in our house, so having 50 people sounds like a nightmare, but we'll figure it out. That's what Jake always says. We'll figure it out, and now it's rubbing off on me. But that's everything for this week. So we still need to actually talk to the rehearsal dinner spots. And finally, we are done with all of these appointments. There have been so many, and it's been super fun. It's been nice to have something that we've been doing every single weekend, but at the same time, I'm exhausted. It's a lot all at once. We just did everything at the 6-month mark, and I'm hoping to have a little bit of a break now, even though I have started looking. There's a program called GIMP, I think, GIMP. It's kind of like a Photoshop, like a free Photoshop sort of thing. I don't really know exactly the official title of it, but I know I'm trying to make the invitations in there. Not like anything crazy. We're doing very basic, like, bifold card invitations. I just bought a bunch of blank ones and I'm just gonna print them out because we did postcards for Save the Dates using that program and they turned out fine. And stationery is another way we're cutting costs. I love seeing pretty stationery, don't get me wrong, and I love when people put a lot of effort into them, but I just don't want to. I'm definitely gonna put effort into it, but it's all just gonna be a black and white laser printed sort of thing. And I'm hoping they look pretty. I'm trying to do, the outside is gonna be our invite, the inside's gonna have RSVP information, and then maybe like some hotel information, and on the very back we're gonna put a map of the two, like the ceremony and the reception space. And I'm excited to work on those. We can't actually send them out because we don't have we haven't set up our meeting with our venue coordinator yet, so we don't have the information for that to put on the cards yet. But we will. Okay, so that's everything for this video. So I hope you're having a good one. Bye!